in and do my bit. So we are starting, and I can't see the map now because we are starting on Indonesia with one really interesting native. I do like the Jesuits a lot. That a type of H2 Dragoon, and they have a really interesting tech. However, on many games I watch, you don't see them being used at all, which is quite a shame actually. As you perhaps might notice, the food and the wood stats are not entirely up to par, and that's basically because of my Ekanta UI. I do have these things set up over here, so we can still see what's going on over here. First of all, in the south, we're having fei123465, actually pretty powerful player at times, but he's faced with Yurashic to the north, a lieutenant colonel, and if you ever have the unfortunate circumstance of meeting him in a quick search, I would suggest resigning. That is how good he is. Always doing very interesting strats, and so I shall be really excited to find out what he has in store for us tonight. Yurashic scouting the map on Fei side and looking to find some buffaloes, whereas Fei is doing pretty much the same. Catching, at least. I don't know why he's attacking. Oh yeah, so he should be converting this treasure. However, using the polar bear to scout out a bit and probably looking for these buffaloes over here, right? Yurashic, having found the buffalo, is going to send it around the corner. Now let's take a Ctrl-Shift-F and see the fog of war. Now, he hasn't scouted these buffaloes yet, over here, and over here. Fei now picking up a really nice treasure for Aztec, 40 wood. Aztec have indeed a bit trouble of getting the warhead up quickly and also getting houses. Whenever I play them, I usually end up having not enough wood for the houses after I build my warhead, so the 40 wood will come in truly handy. Yurashic now nearing. Oh, that's quite sad. He was actually going to near this treasure and perhaps have some contention over here, but Fei is completely safe, doing his own thing in the corner, and one could say he's actually stealing treasures under the nose of Yurashic away. Yurashic having found another buffalo and at least 20 coins, not making a lot of use of his catamaran, which he now has, and Fei is using it to scout out the water. I do believe that these islands on to the north and to the south are not really interesting to go to. A nice idea of the map makers, but probably they should have added a few more treasures over there. Yurashic is now aged, and Fei has aged just now. With, let's see. So here we have the age, and it seems that Fei is aging with a fast politician, and Yurashic is aging with a 400 wood politician. Look how fast he goes. Sending in 2 forward villages already, so he's definitely going for a massive rush, hopefully. Yurashic has not yet scouted out that he's being faced with a warhawk watch over here, instead having sent his explorer to the North Island to discover a really nice treasure there, 90 wood. But I would have liked to see like a short tiny wall over here to at least try to stop a bit of this onslaught, which is upcoming soon. Here we have the villagers, probably not yet. He he has 8, but he doesn't have the wood yet. He has a 114 wood, and this is perhaps exactly what I'm talking about, what I was talking about. Like, after you have age, you don't have enough wood yet to build up your war hut and the houses that you need. Actually, from the looks of it, like with having all those villages on the fire pit, having sent as his first card the 3 priests, I think. So let's see, shipment sent. Yeah, he has sent the 3 priests. I'm starting to believe that he's just going for an FF. I mean, you can hear the surprise in my voice. Yurashic now putting down his second TC and adding a dock. I mean, I'm not quite sure. I haven't followed the tournament as much as I wanted to, but have we ever had sea play, water play until now? I mean, this is truly exciting. Let's take a look at this deck. Yeah, just an ordinary water deck. Okay, there we go. And he has sent the 700 wood, adding another dock, right? Oh, so he's got 2 docks. Already made 1 fishing boat, but he has not yet sent the cheap fishing boats yet. The schooners, right? Alright, so I'm pronouncing them on in a Dutch way, as I believe it should be done, because this silly schooner thing. Fei sending in his explorer, trying to figure out what the build of the town is, and has discovered that Yurashic doesn't have any military buildings, but has not yet found out that he's going for water. On the other end of the map, we see like 10 warrior priests, probably is put on XP, and yeah, from the looks of it, I would just say like he's going for an FF. Like, he's got at least enough wood for a war hut, but he's still stuck at 70 food and 30 gold. I'm saying these numbers because obviously it might be difficult for you to see it. Yurashic is now very close to aging. He has 860 gold and 760 food. And oh my god, so we also have to check Fei's deck. Yeah, Fei is going for heavy water play, like Aztec. Whenever they have the water dance card and also the offshore support, I mean, how could you even battle this versus the Aztec player? No. Fei has put down 1 dock and is already making fishing boats, but Yurashic has 6 fishing boats already, and 6 and 10 already, and we can tell that no one has really any military population, but Yurashic is slightly ahead in villager population, right? This, I don't know why this game is happening as it is happening, but it is actually quite fun. I'm actually quite excited to see this. Finally some proper water play, right? And I'm also really excited to see whether he's going to send the offshore support, right? Isn't it true that the offshore support has been nerfed or at least adjusted in the new AP? What was it again? Not quite sure yet. Now, as we can see, Yurashic has probably pressed the H button. So let's see the tech research, and yes, he has gone to the 3rd age. He has gone to the 3rd age, and well, from the looks of it, Fei isn't even close to aging yet. So this might actually turn out to be quite problematic for him. However, he has sent the 600 gold, and yeah, I'm actually quite confused right now because he has sent the 600 gold, but I'm seeing 600 wood here. In any case, Fei has 800 food, 700 wood, adding another dock, but at the moment the economy of Yurashic is just outperforming his by at least 5 villages already. Yurashic going for a lot of gold already, and it might actually turn out that he's put down at least a racks and a stables, but from the looks of it, if I look at these stats, 1600 food, 968 gold, then we're going to talk about a fast industrial, no doubt. Both players going for full eco play. Look at that. Like, does he even have a war hut? Does he have a war hut? I think not. He doesn't. Oh my god. These natives, right? The Sufis, definitely if you're in age 4, it's a must-have, right? 200 wood, and then the incredible upgrades they give you. Yurashic now using his catamaran, and this I find truly smart actually. Moving his catamaran probably to the north side of the island, so he has at least a safe spot of gathering might he eventually come under attack. Yurashic has not scouted his enemy base yet. Oh, he is not right now. So he might have not known that the red player is also going for a full eco build. And this I just find truly fantastic, right? Fei has figured out that here Yurashic is booming, is doing a water boom, and he's now building 2 docks on the side, because Aztecs are definitely a lot stronger on water than ports are. Yurashic now hunting on the north side, and here we have indeed 1 canoe. He doesn't have the cheap canoe card yet, does he? Let's see. And he has sent the 2 Talok canoes, and these are just so strong. Like, they are even capable of like dealing with a set of caravels. Also attacking, adding some war canoes, but he's not quite certain of where his fishing boats are, and even though he knows that there is a dock over here and a tower being built, he is probably not aware yet that there's more docks on the other side. Right now, just 5 minutes ago, Yurashic was 5 villages ahead of Fei, but here we see the magic of Aztecs water play. Already at 63 to 55, massively outbooming Yurashic. And even though Yurashic is the 4th age and Aztec is the 3rd age, he has to at least make a move right now, Yurashic I mean, because otherwise he's going to be outboomed very, very quickly. 5 dragoons being sent in, and finally at last, Fei is trying to build at least 1 war hut. For the lack of having any military units yet, using 4 villagers to attack a few of those dragoons and doing literally minimal damage to them. However, these warriors are quite handy actually, but I'm not quite sure whether you should really use all your fire pit power to use that. I would have just like used a few mace. It's just only 4 guns. 2 war huts coming up. The canoes just passing these fishing boats over here, and at this moment Yurashic has sent at least 1 factory, so I should go back to the card sends, right? Shipment sent, having sent the 2nd factory as well, and probably, or even hopefully, putting them on heavy cannons. Right now, Fei has still really a military presence to mention. Built another war hut over here, but still stuck in the 3rd age, trying to gather enough gold to age up probably to the 4th age, and perhaps mix in a few of those skull knights. Skull Knights are just devastating once they even touch one of those runes. Like you can literally see those runes melt away, and so I shall be really excited to see some Skull Knights played. Surprising game thus far. No real rush from the Aztecs. Instead, a lot of sea booming. And yeah, sadly, Fei is forced to use some of his resources to get a few more units out, whereas Yurashic is quite comfortably sat here with 2 factories going well, probably producing some heavy cannons, while Fei is just desperately trying to age, I think. He has sent a very interesting card, the 18 maze with, I don't know exactly, but I think it is 20% extra hit points. And so we can only expect that he is planning on like going full maze versus dragoons. And even though he's added a noble's hut, I don't think he's going to use a lot of those knights from the war hut. Here we still have Fei full on wood, more than 33 villagers on wood, heading towards the 800 wood, and from the looks of it, Yurashic has more than 1200 gold. And oh, there they are, the heavy cannons, and they are just taking care of those maze as they should be. Like, this is an H4 unit, this is an H3 unit. Fei is still stuck in the 3rd age, however, around 17 villagers ahead in eco compared to Yurashic. However, those heavy cannons are truly quite scary. Yurashic adds a few more runes, totaling around, I'll take a banter at it, like 25 guns, would it be? And Fei sends in the Arrow Knight card. It's 500 food and 400 wood, I believe. This is from the big button from the Noble's Hut. Arrow Knights, extremely well suited to kill off cannons. However, if the cannons ever do make contact, I mean, these 3rd age units are just massacred then. Yurashic has, and Fei has just aged. Maybe I should go to text being researched. Yeah, Yurashic now, Fei now adding a farm tech, because probably he's considering switching his eco back to land-based eco, because the fish are running out. Yurashic has sent a whole bunch of villagers into the foray, which I hope is is perhaps coincidental, not intentional at least, because he's losing more than 4 villages already. That unit's lost. Yes, we're talking about, I can't see the number. We're talking about 7 villages. They have a cannon still in play, trying to shoot as many maces as possible, but Fei has just upgraded the mace, and Yurashic has sent another H4 card. I believe it is 20 expo, but it isn't. Where? Oh, it's from his tech, from his church tech. Really interesting play thus far. Yurashic now under heavy pressure from this massive onslaught from all these maze, and just this enormous amount of units that Aztec can actually just pump out just by clicking the big buttons over here. He doesn't have the plantation yet, so luckily for Yurashic he cannot make the skull match yet. But in utter despair, Yurashic has decided to send in Minutemen, which are probably capable of dealing with these units, because we can tell that the unit count is now 72-63 in favor of Yurashic and Mameluke sent, and they are absolutely devastating to the army of Fei. These are all light infantry, and versus Mamelukes, they're not doing any damage really. Let's take a look. So he's trying to focus fire, I think, on at least one of these units, and you can just see that he's just not even affected by it. Still alive after more than 2 minutes of massacring and killing units, and still in play. Now this one is slightly low on health, but still doing massive damage to whatever Fei is bringing into play. And at this point, yes, you really do need a few of these eagle runners. Yurashic has sent the German Black Riders, but this is a Tower Sword Rider. It's another card, tech church card, and trying to push in, but wisely, I would say, moves back, hopefully awaiting a few more heavy cannons, because right now there are just too many Eagle Knights in play. I would just surmise that this is probably one of those big buttons he has sent. Currently we're having almost an equal economy, I think, but the military unit population of Fei is just almost 20% larger than Yurashic's. Of course, some of you mathematicians could probably correct me on that and tell me that it's not 20 but 16 or 17. Yurashic has built at least one farm, basically because he doesn't have any access to the sea anymore, and also the land economy. Fei is definitely taking map control, and just this enormous mass of mace and eagle knights, the direct counters of these units. Yurashic is heavily losing his military population here. Here we have 100 versus 78, and yeah, more crossbows coming in, but what could H2 units do versus an Aztec H4 mass? Sadly, no Skull Knights yet, which I find personally just saddening, but as we can tell, I don't know how Fei really turned this around, probably because of the sea eco, but oh, and there we go, the big buttons, and Fei is basically doing what Aztec can do very well in H4, just pumping out those units incessantly, and while these arrow knights are just attacking his buildings, his factories, and another batch of Mamelukes. Are they sent from his? They are probably, no. It's a card. He sent another card. Oh my god. Mamelukes now in play. However, because of these Eagle Knights, they're definitely dying off much faster than just 5 minutes before. More Expo coming into the foray, trying to support these Mamelukes. However, even though the mass has declined, sadly, the army population for Yurashic has declined equally as well, and so we're basically now talking about a 30% mass compared to Aztecs. A few Cazadores trying to support the dwindling army of Yurashic, but right now I have to say that sadly it seems to be that Aztec has taken this game, has taken this map, has taken all the resources, is still is still basically just using his entire villager population to gather resources, and Yurashic is just stuck on either farms, of which he has 3 now, and a few mines and wood, but nothing comparable to what Aztec has, and this we can actually clearly see in the disparity between the army sizes. Aztec is just being annoying right now, just pumping in more and more units, sending in even coyotes in there, and wow, Yurashic is just desperately fighting to survive. It is probably very likely that this game is going to be Aztec's game. Yeah. Perhaps too early to call it, but one might quite comfortably say. Also, judging from the resource stats, we're talking about 70 food for Yurashic, 900 food in store for Fei. We're combined with 3,000 gold versus 300 gold of Yurashic, and just based on those stats, I would say, yeah, a really brave stance, but a desperate one at best. Minutemen trying to protect these villagers heading back to the farm, but even the Aztec army has retreated. It is quite clear that a few X-bows are no match at all versus this mass of coyotes and eagle knights. Truly sorry to see, because Yurashic has shown to be a really interesting player with really interesting moves, but right now I would say these X-bows, yeah, they look awfully pretty, but are they really effective? One would obviously prefer to have a massive Cazadores supported by cannon fire, but right now it's just wood and food eco what is left to him. I have once played a game where the enemy Aztec only had champion Eagle Knights, and well, whatever we threw at him, he just kept on coming back at us. So Eagle Knights, really powerful, not the best at killing light infantry, but all the other units they deal with quite effectively, and Fei has a 2-unit combination of coyotes and Eagle Knights to support them. So yeah, these X-bows, they're well, it is a mass, but an effective one, not likely. Let's take a look at the units lost. Yurashic has 30 villagers lost, 13 fishing boats, versus Fei 4 villages and only 1 fishing boat. And yeah, 125 X-bows versus 156 maize, but just the lack of gold is truly getting towards Yurashic's. Right now 58 X-bows versus 29 Eagle Knights and 25 coyotes. Fei massing another huge army to the west of Yurashic, and Yurashic trying to rebuild his eco as well as he can, but truly I mean, I'm counting 81 villages, but most of them seem to be either on wood and food, and yeah, Fei has done the inevitable, chosen to go Imperial, And yeah, this is perhaps a brave move, but a desperate one, I would say. The two armies now faced with each other, and there we go. Coyotes moving in, a few expels connecting with these dragoons. As I said before, these dragoons absolutely melt away as soon as a Skull Knight touches them, and look at these coyotes being placed perfectly in the center of this expel mass, supported by the Eagle Knights, and these coyotes are just taking care of this. And yes, well done, really well played game. At first I thought the game was slightly favored into Jurasic's favor, but Fei has truly shown what Aztec can do, and that is pump out massive amount of units and create an incredible economy if you let them. And sadly, Yurashic has let them, yeah, and we can see it here. Let's take a look at the villager population. Yeah, fairly comparable until this point in time, where the Aztec economy just took over. And let's take a look. I think the coin line especially shows the moment at 21 minutes where Yurashic was forced to abdicate, actually, his position as supreme favored player. Great. Next round. Alright, let's double check the stream. Yeah, seems to be quite okay. The donation bar is a bit slightly off center. Yeah. So that is this one. Okay. This can go a bit to the top. Alright. Good. He is funny. He is truly funny. Yeah. You know, like how the entire community is making fun of Garya and literally blaming him for each and every map error. Oh. Yes, thank you. Absolutely. I'm too noob for feels. I'm sorry. Oh, indeed, the score. Yeah. Okay. How would I add the score? Okay. Yes. Very good of you to say that. There you go. Score. Yurashic is on the left side, so he's got 1, and Fei is on the right side. There you go. 0-1. Okay. Yep. Yurashic complaining slightly about Aztec. Okay, 0-1. Still having slight complications with Fei not being able to click in for the map. Keep hearing some stuff, so probably a taste of a joint German glory cast someday. Ah, is it? How long does it take to reinstall the game, really? I mean, I do have the CD on my drive somewhere. Should I? Let me ask. Hi, Haza. I'm trying. Yeah. I might actually be able to fix the egg counter real quick. However, this is highly unprofessional, of course. And so let's take a look where I put it. Yeah, where did I put it? In the mods. Oh my god, like Okay. Not likely, but I'll try. I shall try. Let's see. So basically talking you guys through it. I have a special UI which is called Ekanta, and I have it, and people are telling me that I should uninstall it. However, the problem is I seem to remember that you cannot uninstall it, and yeah, I don't have anything listed here that I can uninstall, so sadly, quickly, just for the sake of this, what I can do at the very least is like start up so we can go on with this other game. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, launch ESOC patch, and then after that game I promise I will have at least loaded up my virtual CD, and then I can quickly reinstall it. I mean, that would only take a few minutes, right? And then install the ESOC patch on top of it, and then the UI browser. Oh my god, it's going to take forever. Well, let's not have them wait any longer, shall we? Save your skill, Yurashic, there we go. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. I mean, we have, yeah, I will try reinstall Age of Empires, yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, let's find my city. I have so many drives, so this is going to take a while. I don't really reinstall Age of Empires anymore. I just have the entire folder backed up somewhere, and then just place it into program files whenever I need to. And so that's why it's going to take some time to find it. So thank you. Okay, I will. So I think Faye is trying to find the map installer and trying to reinstall. And I shall entertain you with the full, I'm not talking like just a few seconds, but the full Age of Empires OST. I mean, what else could you ask for, right? I mean, this is it. This is just it, right? Alright, so he's finally fixed it, so let me quickly turn off the music. Actually, I do like this part of the OST a lot. And we are having Malaysia. I did have a quick look of the maps, Malaysia, but I'm sorry to say that it doesn't ring a bell right away. But oh, what the hell? Okay, so Fei is definitely having problems with the map. Well, thank you for bearing with us. It's been quite an ordeal until now, with the reloading and failing to load. So let's see if this is going to fan out properly. And it doesn't. I'm truly sorry. This is a bit unprofessional. So I'm just going to leave you with another round of music. Yeah, so we're clearly struggling with this map. I don't know why. I think I have played this one today a bit earlier, and it says 2.2C, which is perhaps an indication because I only have 2.2B maps. Yeah, not the best streams at the moment, but let's see what's going on. I mean, I'm just going to propose to move on to the next map. Somehow all of us are having conflicts with this map. Yeah, so let's go back to the music and see when Yurashic joins us. And I'm going to look for my drive.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Alright people, let me first apologize for this delay. Actually, during this delay I would have been able to reinstall my game. However, sadly, still can't find it, the CD, so let's hope the next round I can. Oh, it's going. Fei has clicked in for Dutch, and Yurashic has chosen for Dutch Mirror. Being Dutch myself, I am absolutely ecstatic about seeing a Dutch Mirror. I do hope that all of you share my excitement in this. But surely, I mean, double Dutch on EP, isn't that Craigasm, right? That is Craigasm. What? Wrecked so many. God. I'll just choose to ignore that for the moment because we're having an absolutely beautiful map, Thar Desert. Don't know who designed this map, but whoever did, congratulations, you have done an amazing job on this map. However, even the lighting is really beautiful, like a sunrise or sunset. I do think, I haven't played this map yet before, but I do think that eventually this change in lighting can be a bit distracting at times, right? I'm not quite sure. I do have a bit of a sound issue right now, so I'm going to quickly up the sound of the game. So, alright, let's go back to the action. Now, on this map, we have 2 wood treasures on this side of the map and the other side, and I think Yurashic has already gotten one of them, and Fei has not yet found this one. Fei is having a go at the 90 wood, and will Yurashic be on time? Oh my god, we've got to see this. Sadly no. But Yurashic quickly switching to melee mode to get at least as much damage as possible on Fei. But Fei, quite content with having his 90 wood treasure in the bank, especially for Dutch. This can actually mean a faster bank and a faster gold gathering. Yurashic has built a house, and Fei, which I really like actually, has opted to build a market instead. And let's take a look at the text researched, being researched, text completed, and he has the hunting dogs, which is, I don't know, like, as a Dutch player, I would say the 50 wood that you need for the hunting dogs, yeah, it delivers a few seconds faster age up. And here we see, is this Fei? Oh, I turned on my mic. Oh no. Okay. A faster age up, but Fei has built a house right now, and the hunting dogs, and let's see if he's being researched. Yeah, and both have aged, but as you can see, like, even though with the hunting dogs, Yurashic is aging up faster. Yurashic now gathering wood to get his banks built, and Fei also trying to gather as much wood as possible. Tags completed. Let's take a look. One of the first tags I would choose in H2 is gang wood, I think. In any case, the 100 food wood tag, just to get the wood a bit faster. Dutch are really wood hungry civilization. Explorers still moving about, and Yurashic's diplomat trying to get a few knocks out on Fei's explorer, but he's not having it. These 4 elephants, they represent like such a massive amount of food. You really need to hunt them, hurt them. 1 bank going down for Fei and for Yurashic as well, but as you can see, every step of the way, Yurashic tends to be just a tiny bit faster, and one can only really wonder, is that because of the hunting dogs of here? Fei aged up as well, and let's take a look at card sent. 3 cards sent. I would expect 700 wood as one of the first cards. Fei with 270 food, and Yurashic with 300 food. Do keep in mind that Fei has got the hunting dogs, and Yurashic doesn't, which is quite surprising. But Yurashic is going for a rather greedy build, I would say. 1 stable down, bank wagon sent, and Fei going the traditional route, building another bank with the 400 wood from the A job, having sent another 700 wood, and trying to gather enough food as well to go for a 3 bank build. In any case, just to fend off any attack that can come from Yurashic. Yeah, I just love these elephants. It's quite... I don't know if it's just my own noobiness, but I would have at least put 1 villager on the elephant, just not having it go to waste. Or maybe it's just like the frugal Dutchman inside me. Oh, Yurashic now sending out 5 cavalry, and he probably knows that there are these villages over here. And if he connects with this massive amount of villages, then, you know, it is game over. However, Fei, having guessed that Yurashic is going for a cav attack, has sent the 8 pike as his second card, and can defend this very easily. At this moment, Yurashic's choices are quite limited to either building another bank or literally just aging up, which in my opinion he's trying to do. He's got 500 and 500 food and gold, and Yurashic has 540 and 300 wood, 300 gold. 5 cav moving in again. Let me adjust this a bit. 5 cav moving in and again, but still being fended off by the 8 pike card. The 8 pike card really getting his worth out of it, because these hussars, even though they are still in play, they are fairly useless, I would say. I mean, they cannot force any of these villages to be idled inside the town center, because all Fei has to do is just move these pike around, and he doesn't even have to put them in the town center, right? Yurashic's trying to save his 5 cavalry, which I really do like. This is probably one of the mistakes lower ranks might make, losing at least 1 or 2 cavalry during their raiding, and Yurashic just trying to push in left and right, trying to eke out at least these little 45 XP bonuses from left to right, and Fei's just trying to repel this attack, hoping that... Oh! I was actually thinking that he was going to H, but he's not. He's putting down another 4th bank. Well, Yurashic, even though he's almost just in time for this... Oh, he has H, sorry. This is definitely just due to my UI, that I didn't pick up on that. Fei has aged faster than Yurashic, has 4 banks versus Yurashic's 5 banks, and, well, I don't know if I can say it already, but yeah, even though Fei is building his 5th bank right now, I mean, in my opinion, in my professional Age of Empires opinion, as a Dutch player, Yurashic is already ahead now. And you cannot tell from the stats, right? Like, they're almost similar, 24-24, but having these banks so much sooner than Fei has, that is the difference you need in the ensuing H3 battle. I mean, this is the difference between like maybe 4 extra skirms, 3 extra routers, perhaps even a cannon. I mean, yeah, And I can only guess that he's trying to aim for the 6th bank as well. Yurashic now, having trained 5 routers from the stables, still amazingly having kept all of his SRs reasonably alive. Like, look, the health stats are still quite high, and now with the routers he can just hit and run all his units. Fei wisely deciding to add a barracks, a stables and a few houses, and oh, I just had hoped that this was an arsenal. I do love my cannons. In any case, enough houses for a massive scum mass, and Fei and Yurashic also adding a few buildings as well. I just don't understand why these villages are on this mine. Because, well, it's 230 gold left, but I don't know. Well, I guess it's my noobiness talking again, but I would just add 2 more banks and put all these villages either on wood or on food. In any case, let's not talk about me any further. I am way lower than these people are. And so here we have 10 skirmishes, 5 routers versus at least 12 routers and 10 skirmishes as well. And so we can clearly see that the military population of Yurashic is now vastly superior to Fei's. And whether that is due to the bank, remember the 5th bank going up faster, I cannot really tell, but this is usually what you experience when you play Dutch. Like, the faster you put out the banks, like, the more army you can eventually mass a few minutes later. We are now on 12 minutes, closing in on the 4th age, I would say, but judging from the resources, both players have opted to just go for an age 3 play instead of like going to industrial, which I would have done and probably bitterly have lost this game. Economically, both very similar, but oh, that was just a nice volley. Look, 3 routers, almost no skirmishers killed, just 1 skirmisher killed. Routers are really gold heavy, right? So another skirmisher taken out, and well, you don't even have to count, but you can already tell that the skirmisher mass of Yurashic is already larger, and another 45 XP. I think this poor explorer has had it like, I don't know, he was probably shafted about 5 times now. I mean, just funny to see him stand up and die. Both armies pushing in, and here we see the attack move at play. Yeah, what could I say? I mean, I do like to group them in 3 key groups and just move them in and shoot them separately, but I mean, it's really not bad at this point of time to just like attack move everything you've got. Moving his army back wisely, because it seems that, I'm not quite sure, but the iron mass seems to be a bit higher in favor of Fei, but already just 61 to 66, 59, and well, Yurashic is just having the better traits, isn't he? Like, putting his routers back, I mean, that was just a really smart move, like right there. That probably won him the game. And you see these skirmishers battling out against each other, and at this moment I would have had a few cannon. Fei with 700 with 800 gold in the bank, literally, and a few hussars moving in, but they are quickly being dealt with the riders over here. And I just like, yeah, this is just really good. I just like the way he moves his army back and forth. He's just not losing any riders unnecessarily, and I mean, sadly for Fei, I mean, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say this as a caster, but Yurashic is definitely applying his skirmisher abilities much better than Fei is. I mean, Fei is hopefully just losing villagers at will, at random, and his military units as well. He might be just really preoccupied with finding separate hunts, which are quickly running out left and right. None of the players have switched to a farm economy yet, but I would suspect I would actually prepare myself now by gathering at least 400 wood. Both players now have around 500 gold and 100 food, so you can really tell that food is becoming a problem right now. Losing another villager, most likely, yep, and that makes the total to probably 5 unnecessarily lost villages. I stand corrected. 14 villages lost. I mean, yeah, that is just quite sad. Oh, Hacketbell's moving in. Getting really a lot of damage on these skirmishers, but Yurashic just has the upper hand. He just has more router than Fei has. Another villager going down, most likely. I would like, yes, did you see that? He focused fire on the villager, wrecking out and Luke getting shafted again. Poor Luke. He's having quite the night, isn't he? I mean, that must have been like the 7th time or so. But just now, like what you just saw, like that was just really good play and micro from Yurashic, like recognizing the value of villages for the Dutch player. He's, instead of focus firing on skirmishes, he's just instantly reacting to the random villages popping up left and right in his view. And of course, Luke is also a favorite. Oh, I just don't understand this. Like, look, that just represents like at least 1400 gold in investment, but also the equal amount of idle time and not gathered resources by the red player. Now, all these villages, around 10, being caught out in the wide open, and at this point I would just resign myself. I mean, Yurashic has truly shown here that he is the better micro player. He's better at reacting quickly at changing circumstances, like he's finding these villagers at random. Not yet having found these villagers, but the immense skirmisher mass versus these skirmishers are a true indication of the differences in the economic population. And yeah, 17 villages versus 44. there you have it, right? Also translates directly into a military unit population of 100 versus a 50, well, 58 of course. Yurashic has, I would say, enough resources to start thinking about an H4 move. I would just be a game changer. Fei has sent the Swiss pikemen. He has the 12 Swiss pikemen, also the 6. I just don't like this card. The 6 hacker pals, whereas Yurashic has heavily invested in his army by upgrading not only his routers, but also sending all of the skirmishes upgrades. So they are right now. I don't think he needs to run from this, right? He's being overly careful, but I mean, he could just stand and fight and take this over with that. What I wanted to say is, like, we're having yeah, 24 skirmishes lost versus 68, which is quite a lot. And they heavily invested in 42 cavalry. Yes, indeed. He has now called for a good game, and I have to say it was. I stand duly corrected. I mean, I would have added a few cannons, but obviously it's not necessary. High players, they forgo with the cannons altogether. No one has used the Udasi, which, okay, clearly shows that this is just decoration. Well, I would say thank you for this really impressive Dutch mirror. I mean, one of my favorite civs. And here we see, like, where Yurashic is just taking off like a meteorite, and Fei is just sadly just losing village. And this is where he found those villages on the hunt, and that is just a risk you might have to take at the time, finding more food. And then they're just being caught out. Yeah, really nice game. And extremely well played by Yurashic. Yeah, everything is in Russian. 700 food and 1000 food, and the upgrade cards. Yeah, clearly completely different from my deck. I might have to change. Yurashic now clicking in for China. Yeah, and Fei going for Sioux. Wow, this is going to be a good game probably. One might, if you know me, you might know that I ban Sioux from my games because in team games they're just incredibly OP. So the Sioux Civ thrives on fast attacks and being able to recover very quickly if need be. But in team games they just basically go to H3 to bow riders and just mass and mass until they can siege your town. Iowa, a trade route map with 3 trade posts, and really interesting for Sioux, a Lakota, and let's see, an Inca. Oh my god. Well, let's first do this intro. To the north side we're having Yurashic, the Russian player from the cold bitter north, trying to battle it out with Fei representing China as the Sioux player.
Yes.
Yeah, I ought to be checking the hunts probably, right? So we have one hunt here, one hunt there. He has got one hunt a bit closer than Fei. Well, seems to be fair enough, right? He's got one massive hunt over here, just a few deer. And yeah, this is a third hunt, the fourth. Well, the hunts seem to be quite alright. But let's get back to the natives. This is probably not. Oh my god! It trains dog soldiers? That must have been an adaptation by the EP. In that case, well, if you can have dog soldiers, then this is definitely a must-have for the Sioux. And perhaps Fei knew this, and that's why he picked the Sioux Civ, because he can add extra dog soldiers if he has the natives. Yurashic now going for probably a meta build, like the Chinese building a trade post and a village, and I would expect him to go for a fast fortress. Sioux opting for a trade post as well. I'm not really proficient in Sioux Civ play, so should not ban Sioux. Yes, I know, I will spank you. You really do love them, huh? Those natives. But let's talk about the Incas. I sincerely hope so. If Yurashic manages to sneak in a 200 wood for the Incas, I mean, that would be just massive for the Chinese player, because look at these techs, right? First of all, metalworking, so the gold income is just so much higher and faster. But the Incan Chasqui messengers and the road building, I mean, all of those techs are just amazing for Chinese. Like, imagine fast moving choconoes. Imagine that, right? I mean, god. Sounds like there's some treasure hunting over here. Oh, this is a really nice treasure, isn't it? Especially for the Chinese player. Stunning them, and then sometimes they even stay stunned, oblivious to all the knockouts you're giving them, which I really like. And he has got a Cherokee. Good players tend to move that Cherokee close to your villager and try at least to idle at least one, and sometimes even kill one. But Yurashic has scouted this treasure as well, so let's do a quick fog of war, and has added a 90-foot treasure, which has caused him to, well, not age faster probably. I'm not quite sure what the DO and the SS mean, but I'll get to grips with that as soon as I've reinstalled it. Sioux player has added a few TPs, which also increase gathering rate. Don't know exactly by which percentage, but also another trade post. So we might be even seeing like a full trade post play by the Sioux player, because if he takes down this trade post, which I would actually, this is probably the first thing I would do, he might actually just go for the entire trade post. Yurashic walling off this choke point, and I saw a stream of Kaiser Klein recently where he mentioned that you can actually place two large pieces separately, which then overlap in the middle. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, he's truly a smart bastard, isn't he? Like, literally saving around, what is it? Like, look at all these pillars in this tiny bit. That must be around 85 wood that he saves by just figuring out those little tiny tidbits of information. I mean, no matter what your opinion is of Kaiser Klein, I mean, you must hand it to him, right? He is a really smart bastard, right? At times, trying to eke out 85 wood successfully like that. The Sioux explorer, the hero, moving in and has taken already some damage, regrettably. Trying to scout out this base, which hasn't been walled off yet. And X-Riders doing exactly what I would have preferred, and that is attacking the trade post, denying Yurashic any more XP income. And Yurashic is now aged, building his porcelain tower, I presume. Whereas the Sioux player, let's take a look, tax being researched, yeah, he's not aging yet. Let's take a look at the shipments, and we're having 700 wood and gold coming in for the Chinese player, 5 villagers for the Sioux player, and he has herded these bison back to his town, and probably, let me take a look, has not scouted. Yeah, I think he hasn't scouted this one yet. Oh well. Oh well. He might not have, but now you can clearly see them. Trade boat has gone down, and yes, he has upgraded them, so he's going to have that much extra income. The Chinese player going for the Lakota trade post, native post, which is actually going to be quite interesting, because I would have guessed that he would have gone for the Inca, but that's just simply because I just simply love Inca. There's this map on the RE patch that has the Incas. I mean, sadly we don't play it often enough because it's not in the standard map relation, I think. And there we have the extra bison sent from the Lakota natives. A few pikes and choconoes, and once again, I mean, imagine fast moving choconoes. Or is it just the nerd inside of me just talking right now? Maybe they're not OP then, but that would be just amazing, right? Fei, moving about a few cav left to right, but not really doing anything or having an effect on the ever increasing eco of Yurashic. And right at this moment, having sent 1000 wood, building a consulate. I mean, yeah. If I were the Chinese player, I would just go H4. He's now currently at 300 food and 300 gold, but it's not nearly ready to go H3. And the Sioux player has done none of the H2 play that I expected with the bow riders, but instead aged up, sent the 5 musket rider cart, as you can see here, and trying to snipe a few villagers left and right. Added a few more musket riders, which versus China, don't know. Very well capable of at least sniping one villager left and right. But yeah, versus an infantry heavy civ as China going musket riders, is, well, to me it's not like the first option I would take. But Fei moving back, being contented by having poked around a bit, having killed at least one villager, and all in all, I have to say this is turning into quite a lossless H2 play. Let's take a look at the units lost. Yeah, so we're basically having 2 bears shot and 2 villagers down, and the Chinese player just moving ahead with his eco. It's the Sioux has upgraded his cav, which I think is for the X riders, but just take a look at this. This is all anti-cav. Yeah, China already moving ahead, 55 units versus 38, and so literally seems to not be knowing what to do other than running around in circles. Not being able to push into Yurashic's arguably quite openly built town center, but just the presence of all these anti-cav units just makes it just impossible for the Sioux player to make any impactful move, which might be just down to him being a bit too greedy in taking all these trade posts and extending his H2 play to an H3 move. Well, if you see all these villages moving to the gold mine, my bet would be that China is going to move to H4. China going full on. Oh, Fei has moved to the industrial age, and now we oh. I have to do something, right? Fei has won once, and Yurashic has won. Shit. Let's do it later. Yurashic has 2, right? 2 wins under his belt. Yurashic has now moved his entire army to the trade route, and Fei is not quite ready yet. Has upgraded his musket riders, but his mass isn't large enough to flank it and take down his town center. He hasn't got a fire pit either, and this Chinese mass is growing ever scarier by the minute. I mean, oh, a fire pit going down. And the Sioux player has decided to send a few extra units in. Yeah, the Vaquinas. But just take a look. I mean, how would one fight this as Sioux? I mean, even with his entire army combined, and the dog soldiers sent, I mean, that's just going to be really difficult. And let's take a look at how this is going to pan out. It's probably China's match to win, unless he makes terrible microing error. And there we have it. A bit of lag. China just moving his Changdao forward, but these munches in the back are just protecting all the skirmishes from the dog soldiers, and the dog soldiers just going down. The hero is still alive, and the musket riders are the only units left to take on these munches. Yeah, even though this seems to be even, just the economy behind the China player is just unmatched. I mean, Sioux would not be able to replace these units because the dog soldiers, that was a big button from the town center. Or, oh no, it was a card. He still has the big button left, but that takes... Oh, this is the card. He might have actually sent the big button, which is 2,000 food, and he hasn't got any food left, right? 300. Nearly no gold. It's 50 gold. And China just keeps on adding and adding more army and army. Right now slightly running out of gold probably. Is going to have to move to this mine over here, which might be caught out by this cavalry army moving this way. This is what what Sioux could be good at, just moving around left to right, but China is wisely moving in, trying to distract this cavalry army back to the front, and has moved back. I'm a bit unclear as to why he has decided to move back, but now he does spot the cavalry mass over here, and hopefully he has discovered that there are a few dog soldiers mixed in between them. Yeah, this I find regrettable. Like, he does have the wood, so why not just put down the Inca? Come on, do it for us. Do the Inca. Come on, Yurashic. You can do it. I mean, you know you just want it, right? You have an entire infantry army, and you could have faster moving infantry. Like, why wouldn't you? another batch of musketeers coming from the consulate, and if you take a closer look, you can see that he hasn't lost any of his musketeers yet. So he's been sending this batch of musketeers over 3 times already, and he hasn't lost any of them. Fei building a war hut to protect his villagers hunting over here, but slightly running out of hunts, even though he has 1 left in his town center and 1 in the center. But I would expect them to move anytime now into a farm in Kalmi. Sioux has been allowed to do what I fear the most. H4 Sioux with cavalry. It's a bit laggy, huh? With cavalry HP added, moving in, and oh, I don't see the fire pit dance yet, but oh, he's boxed them. Oh, but why? You can clearly see it's not effective. Oh my god! I would go fire pit and just siege the hell out of this town center. And he has. Yep, he has decided to go fire pit. Let's take a look at how many villagers. Not nearly enough, I would say, like around 10. I would go instantly for the 20, but his town center is going down. These villagers are all lost. But at the same time, China is moving in this massive army, and yeah, I would say that his town is gone. Like, China literally does not need a siege dance to take down a TC just in the same amount of time as he has done over there. Fei moving back his cavalry, but if only Yurashic had decided to stay, he would have been easily able to take down this town center, but he's decided to move back for, at least to me, no apparent reason. He is being quite carefully, and perhaps overly carefully, I don't know. In any case, Yurashic has found these hunters on the bottom, and even though these Vakinas are trying to buy enough time for both his cavalry and his villagers to move in, I would say that this is still in favor of the Chinese player. Fei has switched the fire pit to attack mode, and all of his cavalry are in attack mode stance, and more units are moved in, and yeah, I mean, he's taken the battle, look. Incredibly, well, not incredibly, because I can be wrong, but incredibly, the Sioux player has cleaned up this entire Chinese mass convincingly, like in such a way that he has enough cavalry left. Look at them, this is really scary. Enough cavalry left to pose a real threat to the economy of the Chinese player. He's not walled off. Villagers moving in as well to, luckily moved back into safety by Yurashic. And well, yeah, the Sioux player isn't aware of what we can see, of course. There might actually be an army waiting here, and so he has opted to at least kill off this trade post. But if only he had moved just a tiny bit further, he would have been able to kill off around 10 villages. A massive batch of pikemen moving in, but versus dog soldiers, I would say, yeah, they do some damage, but definitely not enough. Yurashic now aged up, but fighting for his life, and has called GG. Surprisingly, I mean, this battle has been decided right here in front of his town center, and I don't know, might he have been able to win this and force Fei to resign if he had just stayed here and taken down this town center? I mean, we might not know. But quite surprisingly, the battle that followed was truly convincingly won by Fei. And yeah, we have to congratulate Fei on this. He has shown to be quite a good player and surprising Yurashic at times. This is the battle that we're talking about, and Fei has 55 pop more, whereas Yurashic has literally nothing left. Eco-wise, I would say China has outboomed a bit, and villagers, yeah. Yurashic has lost that town center, and here you see that dip coming through. But quite commendable. Also rebuilt rather quite quickly. I would say this game could have gone both ways. Either a win for Yurashic or for Fei. Okay, let's get out. This is turning out to be quite an exciting matchup, actually. I like it that they both surprise each other. So Yurashic has won one, but Fei has won twice. Did something change about the Sioux? Oh. Are they? Oh, the overlay. Alright, let's get rid of the overlay. Yeah, the TP, right? Yeah, the TP is quite... Okay, Fei has locked in for another Sioux, and Yurashic is picking China again. No, certainly not. Yurashic is thinking, because if he loses the next match, he loses the game. But if he wins, he can extend for another match, which is of course in our favor. I mean, I'm rather quite excited of seeing another game of this one, so I definitely do not want Yurashic to lose. Dutch. I'm not that knowledgeable on this matchup because, as I said before, I tend to avoid playing with Sioux, but one would actually surmise that playing Dutch versus a fast-moving H2 calf sieve is, well, to put it nicely, a rather unusual move, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Yurashic can show me and all of us on playing Dutch. So, and as I said before, Dutch is my favorite civ, so he's not quite happy with the fertile Crescent move. Yeah. What could I say about that? I mean, I do like the Pampas Sierras more. I do agree with that. And Adirondax, I like that more. Yeah. But okay. Here's me rooting for Yurashic, and all of you ought to as well, because if Yurashic wins, then there's going to be another match. If he loses, then we have to congratulate Fei on outplaying an arguably better player than himself, right? A lieutenant colonel. There we go. Fertile Crescent. The good thing about this map, or interesting thing about this map, is that the trade posts are situated to the far left and the far right of your base. So, as we saw in the other matchup, it doesn't happen that there's this contention in the center about over these trade posts. And so you could quite easily build a trade post and keep it for a long duration of time. The Sioux player has found 20 coin, okay, which is awesome. And the Dutch player using his diplomat to look around. It is an envoy, of course, right? Sioux has found 100 food. Oh my god, that is such a ridiculously good treasure. Allowing him to age up so much faster. And so let's go with the text being researched so we can keep track of whenever he's going to age up. Sioux finding another really good treasure, and the Dutch player has found 90 root treasure, which is also very good. The envoy is scouting the center, the Sioux player using his converted lion to just simply stand there and attack the line over there. Which does cost them quite a lot of HP. Yurashic using an explorer to try to kill this tiger with as least amount of damage done to himself, and the Sioux player has built a TP with 500 and 300 food for both players. Yeah, this is quite surprising because the Sioux player did have that 100 food treasure, but it seems that the Dutch player is going to age faster than the Sioux, and he hasn't got a market yet. It's, yeah, mind-boggling, but maybe it's simply because Dutch can age faster than Sioux. Sioux has got 10 villagers, and Dutch is now ready to age up, has aged up. Now let's take a look at the shipment sent. 3 villagers for both. And now Dutch player has aged up with 14 villagers, and the Sioux player is going to age up with 14 villagers. Let's take a look. Sioux, yeah, has aged just now, which means that the Dutch player is going to be able to age considerably faster. I would say around 20 seconds faster, which, yeah, I find it very difficult myself to find a good strategy for this matchup. I mean, obviously Dutch needs to build a bank and gather enough wood. It has now 350 food, 350 wood and 200 food, so it will soon build a bank probably. But the Sioux player, what's going on? I got a message, but I'm not quite sure where, so I'm just going to continue. And so the Dutch player is doing everything literally absolutely correct. I mean, I'm quite impressed by him. I wish I had taken better notice of his microing, because look at where his hunts are. It's just a dream. It's just perfectly centered around his town center. And so even if the Sioux player starts to send in X riders, I mean, they can't do any real damage, can they? Second bank coming up for Yurashic, a trade post up for Fei, and he's looking to build another trade post, and he is, which is quite surprising, because gathering wood as Sioux is a costly business, and he has probably opted to either send some wood. He hasn't. He has gathered all that wood by himself, which is quite impressive actually. There's 400 wood gathered, no stables. A Rex coming up, probably for a few pikemen with a house. Very nicely placed, so it blocks off any raid coming on from the right side of his town. The market finally up, and I would suspect that he's going to send hunting dogs. Fei trying to sneak in a few peeks, looking at the build of the town, and which I've said often actually. I don't see this very often in games at RE, that people use the explorer to find out how the build of the town is, because, well, generally speaking, it's not really necessary to know, like to move your explorer in there, because most of them already know what it looks like anyways. In anyways, we have 3 banks up, 1 bank wagon sent, 700 wood, and at this point 800, 900 food, 500 gold, 5 villages on gold. This looks to me like an FF. Yep, he's just trying to gather enough wood. Fei sends in no calf, but 4 villages for no apparent reason, really. And going again for the upgrade. And actually just doing a repeat of what he did last game. An entire gathering of zoo animals loyally following the zoo player for really no reason other than rhinos and tigers and lions live in harmony and peace together on the Crescent Crescent something map, right? Well, I'll just take it as granted. And Yurashic going for a 4 bank build and close to aging up at 7 minutes and 50 seconds, which is well into margin of error, I would say. Like I personally wouldn't be able to go any faster with a 4 bank. I mean, he has shown really tremendous skill in aging up this fast with 4 banks. I mean, I should really take a good look at how high micro the first few seconds. Wakina rifles moving in, 9 of them, so Fei has aged, but we can see that Yurashic is aging as well with the fast aged politician. And even though these skirmishes are taking down at least 1 or 2 villages, this one is going down as well. Yurashic has popped out 5 skirmishes as well, sending in his Minutemen and his Explorer. And so Fei has no other option than to move back. I don't know if you saw that move that he made. That was actually quite good. He switched from the tiger to the Wakinas and then back to the tiger. And probably because the tiger can attack skirmishes. Minutemen being attacked by the rhino, and how ridiculous these rhinos and tigers may look at first. You can see that in this battle they have really proven their worth. I mean, he has used them quite well actually. The role of the tigers and the rhinos now being taken over by the X-Riders, but they are easily countered by this batch of routers, which probably have been sent by Yurashic. Yes, the 9 routers have been sent. X-Riders moving in, being met by the routers, and the skirmishers taking down the Wakinas. The Wakinas moving in to take down the routers, but the routers are smartly moving back by Yurashic. And the skirmishers trying to take some damage on those X-Riders. But yeah, the X-Riders have so much resistance, I think 30%. And yeah, skirmishers used to be really good at taking down cavalry. I remember once playing like with a massive amount of skirmishers, just taking down hussars left to right. Sadly, people started to complain and they nerfed the skirmishers. This is a long time ago, like decades ago, I want to say. 2 dog soldiers being sent by Fei, and they are focusing on those skirmishers, wreaking havoc left and right. But again, Yurashic has microed them perfectly almost. I mean, this is just amazing how he plays, right? Has shut down as many Axe Riders as he could. Taken down these dog soldiers to nearly... Well, I can't see the health stats, sadly, but I think just one more volley and these dog soldiers are dead. And even though he has 12 Wakinas, I would say that the Dutch player has more skirmishes. Contrary to the other game, where Luke was shafted regularly, right now it is Walter Ackermans getting shafted left to right by this entire posse. One can only wonder why he enjoys it so much, but okay, fine. Walter, do your thing, right? Love it. Stay there. I mean, be yourself, right? That's okay. Let's see. 100 foot, 800 gold. I mean, yeah. High ranked players obviously don't like cannons, but come on. I mean, come on. 800 gold. Come on, 2 cannons. I mean, you can do it, right? None of the players have gotten any of these wood upgrades, which I actually regularly do, especially as Dutch. Yurashic now sending these villagers to this gold mine. However, Fei has expected that and has sent in these Wakina rifles, but maybe cannot see them. Yeah, the fog of war actually shows that he should be able to see them. He has seen them moving in, taking down one villager. These cav are waiting on the right side. And he has shot down 2 villagers. Let's take a look at how many villagers he has lost. I think 4, 5. 5 villagers versus 0 villagers on the left. Yurashic now trying to protect his villagers, still trying to mine gold, but Fei is moving in his cavalry and is, well, the military pop is almost the same. Well, was the same until Yurashic sent in those Black Riders. I don't know how these skirms fare versus this mass of cavalry, but the Black Riders are really exceptionally good at taking down this cavalry. So Yurashic moves in, which is the right move I think, because he has more skirmishers than these Wakinas. Cavalry trying to move in, getting a few hits down on those skirmishes, but yeah, this mass of anti-cav. Oh! 5 dog soldiers, and this is a repeat of last game, right? When we saw that dog soldier pop as well. Yurashic trying his best to focus fire on the dog soldiers. They have around 1800 health, I think, HP. And oh my god, has cleaned down this army of Fei quite convincingly. Look, these riders taking down the direct counters, as if, oh, he shouldn't move back, should have just gone in there. And Fei has resigned. Has resigned, which is really exciting news because there's one more round. Yeah, there we have it, right? The military count of Yurashic is just so much larger than Fei, and even though Fei has a better kill-death ratio, you can really see that Yurashic had just had a better eco. 21,000 versus 16,000. My god. That's just insane. Lost a few villagers left and right, but overall the better player this game. I really like how this matchup is turning out to be. Like, both players really on top of their game. Like, I mean, I wish I could play at that level. 2-2. I just need a short break because my throat is really dry from talking that much. Yeah, and we're back. These guys leaving me no time at all to take a breather and drink some tea, so let's move on. And to our final match, the decisive match between Yurashic and Fei. Fei has until this moment shown that he is really good at anticipating Yurashic's moves, and even though I'm not really aware yet of the maps and the advantages of certain aspects of a map, it seems to me that Fei has picked the better civs fitting those maps, as Yurashic also has said. Right now you have India to the north and British to the south, and Indian players can really make use of these llamas scattered all over the map. Yurashic, of course, aware of this fact, trying to find his own fair share of llamas, and in any case trying to at least prevent the Indian player of gathering too many of them. Russia has, the Brit player has at least gathered 2 of them, and Fei has found 5 now. Stolen these 2 from poor Yurashic, and now has 6. Yeah, that's quite regrettable. Especially because there is no trade post on this map, and if India didn't have these llamas, their XP rate would be all the much slower, and provide an advantage for Yurashic. I think that was the strat that he was banking on, trying to get as many of these llamas so that Indian couldn't send as many cards as he wanted to. Fei now has seen that Yurashic is moving back to the south, trying to find another few treasures, which can be quite good on this map, I believe. There's wood and 120 XP. These llamas are of course not good, but this one, 225 food, that's what I'm talking about, and 90 food over here. Fei taking down these 120 XP. And Brit has sent 3 villages, and India has sent the wood trickle. All in all, very standard. Could there be a slight contention over here? I do like it when they stomp. And who's got it? Who's got it? Who's got it? Fei has got it! Oh my god, that's so annoying. And it might just all be down to lag. Like, you know, you're just hammering away on the keyboard, and then still the other player gets it. I mean, that's so infuriating. That's probably also why Yurashic has opted not to take this treasure yet, because if India would have gotten that as well. So, forward base going down, India fort as to be expected. I would have actually liked the fort a bit more in the center, so you can also have these hunts over here, and force Brit to stay all the more closer to his base. Right now you are allowing Brit to move this way and that way and over here. In the center, his elephants are scouting around, trying to get another treasure. Well, a wolf why not? It's extra XP. And it's not going to hurt your elephants that much. I would send these llamas a bit closer to the town center, but he's got quite a lot actually. 8. He's got 8 of them already. Consulate probably. No, it's a market going down. And he's got 140 wood now. And Yurashic has aged up with the tower and putting down his barracks straight away. This would mean that he would go full on Musk versus Sepoy, would he? Interesting. Let's find out. Building another mansion. Manor, I must say. And Faye has aged. Let's take a look at the cards being sent. Good, I don't even have to go there. 700 wood sent by Yurashic, so he's going to build a few more manors, providing him with extra villages. And these 2 sepoy are... oh, that's quite smart. He has moved his elephants to this treasure, and these sepoy are going to help him kill them down, which eventually might help him either to age up faster or create a bigger mass. And you know, in age 2, having 2 or 3 musketeers extra could mean all the difference between a battle. As Faye has not yet... yeah, he has not sent any units cards yet. Instead, opted for the 300... what's that called again? 300... well, the 300 stuff for the consulate. The export. Yep, the 300 export for the consulate. I would say perhaps... and he did the Ottoman consulate. I would say that he's going to send the villagers. And probably just age up. I mean, even though his resources don't indicate that, I mean, this entire build is quite slow. One could even call it careful. And now he's trying to poke out a few stragglers. I mean, if you could find a few villages to the left or the right, but I don't think this is enough to make any meaningful impact on his town center or his eco. I mean, especially because he has added 10 extra longbow, and longbow are extremely good at long range snaring and attacking, especially the musketeers. And so this tiny altercation ends rather quite fruitlessly, and well, both armies retreating. And again, I have to say, Incas, come on, you know you want them, come on. These, they're not that great. Mapuches, they're Indians from the Araucania and Patagonia lands. You know, they have clubmen and I think cheaper gold units, which if you're going for howdahs might be interesting, of course, but right now at this point I would go definitely Incas. I mean, look at them. I mean, God, what is there not to like about Incas, right? In any case, William Ball, not having a ball right now, instead lying there breathlessly saying, I cannot steer her. And Yurashic now adding probably 5 extra musks. We're having 15 musketeers and 10 longbows versus 12 sepoy. Now, no matter how good sepoys are, you cannot take down this. And Fei has indeed aged up. There's a slight lag spike there. Has indeed aged up, adding a few more sepoy, but still I would say 17 sepoy versus 15 longbow, supported by musketeers. That's still a loss. From the age up, Mahout moving in. And now we're having 3 elephants, which could arguably take down a lot of longbows, even though whilst being supported by these muskets, but he is still age 2. And if he manages to age up to well, I've forgotten the word for it. To improve his musketeers? To upgrade his musketeers, oh my god. If he manages to upgrade his musketeers, then oh my god. Yep, I hear it. Sorry for that. Yeah. Terribly unprofessional of me. I should have checked that actually. Yeah, sorry. I do have a lot of screens open, but I'm just so concentrated on this game because I really want to find out who's winning and who's losing, right? Sepoy moving into the back. For anyone who has missed the action, Yurashic is moving in with his longbows and has sent 2 cannons and musketeers and moving into the fort, which was rather placed very close to the base of the red player. The red player is on to this move and is moving his sepoy back to at least stop the movement towards his base. Musketeers, sepoys and Mahout facing musketeers and longbow and 2 cannons, and Fei has moved his army back and sends in his Mahout to take care of 2 cannons. Longbow moving in to take down the Mahout, which is probably not the best way to deal with the Mahout, but the Mahout has been dealt with, is dead now, and the siege elephants aren't really any matter of concern. The Indian explorer is still doing the rather annoying thing that Indian explorers can do, but he's taken down as well. So now we basically only have Brit musketeers versus Indian sepoys and 10 longbows. The Indian player has not got any Gurkhas, which I think is a mistake. We might actually see here how powerful sepoys can be, but at the same time, versus longbow with an added batch of both minutemen and 10 longbows, this is just an absolute massacre in favor of the blue player. And the blue player, look at this massive military count, 53 units versus 93, and that is most of it just taken by these siege elephants, right? These siege elephants probably have like a pop of like 7, and so, oh, he should have pushed in. Just push in and just move it. Oh my god. At the same time, the red player running out of huntables, so he has now moved his villages to the left side on top of the highlands of here and a few into the lowlands, and the Brit player is also moving into the lowlands and probably are going to meet up sometime. Yes, let's take a look at the messages. Thank you. Please take down the overlay. Right, yes, I am onto it. Sorry, gentlemen and ladies. Highly unprofessional of myself. please do forgive an innocent sinner. I mean, this is only the first time of myself casting. 6 Urumis, is that correct? 6 Urumis moving in. Urumis just tearing down musketeers if they can connect. But right now, longbows are moving back, attacking the seaports, and the seaports just blindly moving in. And together with the Urumis, they could make a difference. Yurashic's army being split, that might be on purpose, I don't know, but yes, you can see that the Urumis have killed probably around 3 or 4 or 5 musks, which is not as much as I would have expected actually. Siege elephants still trying to shoot left and right, but even the sounds are really scary and deep, don't do much damage, do they? Right now, Yurashic still on top. As I said before, these military unit population stats are probably a bit lopsided because of these siege elephants. I don't think he has 48 pop in actual units. And we can clearly tell if I look over here, a lot more masks, 23, 33 longbows versus 32 seapoys, and still no Gurkhas. Not a single one of them, which I truly think that is a mistake. Both players now around the same amount of resources, but Yurashic is slightly ahead, I would say. 3 more Mahout moving in, which I think was a card, a 1000 food card, a really good one by the way, which could, if they manage to get close to these longbows, absolutely tear into them. I mean, that is one of the most satisfying reasons to play India, isn't it? Just to send those Mahout into like a mass of longbows, and it is going to happen. Look at it, look at these longbows are not going to be able to escape the massacre or this onslaught going on, even though the musketeers are trying to protect them. Look at longbows dying left to right, Mahout still connecting to those longbows, longbows trying to run away but being snapped by those tusks. Oh my god, this is just a massacre. Oh my god. Oh, look at it. Even the musketeers taken. And this is just game changing, I would say. Just rather sad, I would say, but game changing. Like, the Mahout has finally been taken down, but we're now talking about a battle between musketeers and sepoy, and yeah, probably the musketeers are going to lose it. Yeah, there we go. A few shots taken at the sepoy, but the sepoy taking down 2 extra musketeers, I think. Yeah, this is just India at play. However, I have totally missed the fact that India has more than 2,000 food and gold ready to go to H4. India's army is trying to scout out a few villages left to right. These villages are being met by another Mahout, so he definitely knows where his villages are. And Yurashic either has to move from a hunt-based eco to a farm eco, but he only has got 500 wood for it, so he can only build 1 farm, really. And India is just, even though the stats don't really show it, but India is actually ahead in eco. Aged already. food-wise a lot more than India, and even this fort is going down, and he's got some extra longbows added. As soon as he's aged, I mean, this Sipo mass is going to just, yeah, sad, I would say. I mean, you would almost root for the Brit to be able to at least go up to the fourth age as well, and to, you know, face this massive army of sepoys bravely, with a chance at least. But if he manages to age up and upgrades these sepoys, and then I would say it's GG. Well, there it is. Fei has aged up, probably already pressing the upgrade button. Sepoys trying to take down a few longbowmen trying to take down a few sepoys. Musketeers moving in as well, and this is it. I mean, this is go time. Yurashic realizes this and moves in with his entire army. Villagers idle left and right. No food to be had anymore, so he needs to go to a farm economy, and Fei just wisely decides to park his army to the far back and probably upgrades them, or he might be waiting for that ridiculously OP Urumi card, you know, the one we hate. The one that just keeps on coming and coming and coming. And well, another batch of musketeers from the consulate. Yurashic building a wall, which is quite good actually. I mean, at least it buys him time to go for the cannons. And for the first time tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see a few cannons in play. Yeah, these EP walls are just ridiculously weak. I mean, I think that just has shown you that, yeah, you can build a wall, but yeah, I don't know who decided to do it, but walls seem to be no longer viable. 3 cannons popping out, but I hope he has seen that there was a Urumi nearby, and those Urumis are definitely just going to take down those cannons. Oh my god, that is just regrettable. I mean, you would have only wished those cannons would over here, right between those towers. Villagers moving back from the mine. Just 2 towers. Yeah, psychologically speaking, they offer some protection, right? And sometimes players hesitate moving in towards the towers. Fei, at the very least, doesn't. He just disregards them and keeps on moving in. The Indian sepoys just moving in, killing musketeers, longbows, villagers indiscriminately. I mean, sepoys just ridiculously OP, killing off their direct counters. More sepoys moving in from the north, and Yurashic sending in some cavalry to deal with the sepoys, but the sepoys are, yeah, they are the direct counter of cavalry, and so in melee mode attacking those longbows, and those longbows were Yurashic's last hope. I mean, without the longbows, it would have been just like a battle between musketeers and sepoys, and musketeers always lose that. The last longbows, the last hope of Britain, dying to the west, to the east, the final musketeer. massacred and Yurashic has resigned. And sadly, I don't know why. I must admit I have been rooting for Yurashic for some reason. I don't know why, but Fei has shown to be the better player, the better man. Whether it's due to the shift differences and the way he has used the maps, that is also a part of the game, isn't it? And he has beaten Yurashic. Yes, I'm sorry. You might be right. So congratulations to Fei. He has taken a gamble, I would say, right at the beginning, by delaying his age up, I would say, and also not pushing in really quickly and just opting to go for the third age. And from that moment on, you can see that he's slightly ahead of Yurashic, and Yurashic was militarily ahead, but eventually just lost as soon as Fei went to H4. And here you can see clearly what happens if you meet H4 Sepoy mixed with Urumis, with longbowmen. I mean, yeah, look at that. I mean, yeah, regrettable.